The black car came again last night. Its engine whispered in the silence, moving slowly past your home as if memorizing every detail. The air grew colder, thicker, more unnatural with every pass. It was the third night in a row, and still it didn't stop. But you felt it, every tire's turn, every flicker of light behind the tinted glass, as if it was circling your soul, not just your street. This is no ordinary vehicle, and what's inside is not merely flesh and blood. Like this video for God's protection, the moon trembled behind torn clouds, as if even the sky was unnerved by what stalked beneath it. Trees leaned inward with a breathless stillness, branches frozen like witnesses too scared to speak. Even the insects had gone silent, as though nature itself refused to move while that car passed. You felt it in your bones before you ever heard it. An ache not in the body, but in the space just behind your heartbeat, a warning, divine in origin, echoing louder with each loop. There is something unnatural inside that car. And it knows your name, God says. There are things circling you now that you thought were buried. Events you escaped from, people you left behind, truths you couldn't face. But none of it was ever forgotten in the realm of spirit. It does not need headlights to see you. It waits until your spirit begins to soften, until the old fear creeps back in, until your hope flickers. And then it drives past again, slower. On the first night, it watched you. On the second, it waited. On the third, it left something behind in your yard, a single feather, soaked in something that wasn't rain. You didn't notice it, but your dog refused to step outside that morning. Archangel Michael says, the feathers of dark spirits are never scattered by accident. They are markers. Curses in disguise. Codes for the unseen. You are being measured by something older than you know. Something hurt by your light, but drawn to it like smoke curling toward fire. It has circled others before. Not all of them survived. You think back to a person whose name you haven't spoken in years. Yet their face flashes behind your eyes the moment the engine sound fades. That is not coincidence. That person is tied to this. You remember the door you slammed, the message you never returned, the envelope you never opened. That story is unfinished. And they know it. Type 333 for God help. God says, the spiritual debt attached to your name was never fully erased. You turned from it, but others have not. Now it returns, wrapped in shadows, driving slowly, whispering through metal and glass. Your sleep has changed. You wake up at odd hours, feeling watched. You dream of keys and locked rooms. Of eyes blinking behind mirrors. These are not dreams, they are warnings. There is something you were meant to confront years ago. But you were protected instead. The time of protection is shifting. Now comes the time of reckoning. The sound of the car fades, but its echo lingers longer each night. You check the windows. You pretend it's nothing. But deep down, you know that it's not random. And it's not done. There's an urgency in your spirit that doesn't belong to anxiety. It's older. Generational. Something your ancestors began. And now it has reached your door. Your phone flickers with strange static. Lights dim for no reason. You misplace things you never moved. These are signs of spiritual tension, the compression of realms brushing against the physical. Archangel Michael says, not all battles are fought in dreams. Some start at your driveway. There is a struggle rising between heaven and what hides in that vehicle. You feel it already in your chest, like a cord being pulled between two worlds. What you choose next matters. The angels have taken position. But they are not allowed to interfere without your agreement. This is not about fear. This is about facing what was meant to silence you before your voice could rise. The car slows more tonight. It idles near your mailbox. Inside, the person watches not just your house, but your patterns. They are trying to read your spiritual temperature. Have you grown weaker, or are you prepared? Type 777 if you are ready. God says, I did not allow them to reach you before because your soul was still mending. But now, you are strong enough to hear the full truth. And that truth must be faced before the blessing ahead can arrive. You were never just their target. You were their assignment. And now that assignment has returned, demanding completion. But what they didn't see coming, was me. There are layers unfolding now that you cannot yet see. People connected by secrets, timelines converging in strange ways, and messages hidden in the static of your daily life. If you pay attention, I will reveal every piece. The black car will come again tonight. But this time, you will not tremble. This time, you will feel the shift in your spirit as I awaken what's been asleep inside you for too long. This is not the end of your safety. This is the beginning of your authority. The fourth night came, and the car did not move. It sat under the broken streetlight like a wound refusing to heal, its silhouette soaked in shadow, as if waiting for your breath to falter. There was no sound, no flicker, but the weight of its presence stretched the silence thin until the air itself seemed to pulse with dread. Inside that car is someone you once called family, not by blood, but by bond. A soul who knew too much of you, who saw the cracks you tried to seal with silence, and who now holds those memories like blades beneath their skin. Their hurt has fermented into hunger, their silence into strategy. You shared something sacred with this person. You trusted them before you knew what their loyalty cost. And when everything crumbled, it wasn't just betrayal, it was theft of your identity, your safety, your truth. They watched your downfall. They saw what broke you and did not look away. They didn't stop it. They documented it in their silence. Archangel Michael says, this is not just a person, it is a vessel carrying consequences. They were sent, then twisted. Chosen, then corrupted. What lives inside them now is not the same spirit you once embraced. You feel it now, don't you? That subtle invasion in your thoughts, the sudden memories that surface for no reason, the shadow over your joy. Their presence is reaching for you through invisible threads. Spiritual tethering. A soul connection left severed, but still bleeding. God says, what was once a covenant of companionship has now become a contract of confusion. But I have not left you to figure this alone. The revelation has begun. Inside that car are documents. Old messages. Photographs. Things you forgot existed. They are collecting the evidence of your past to weaponize your future. But I will dismantle their plan before it ignites. You thought their silence was distance. But it was a smokescreen. They've been circling your name in rooms you were never invited into. Your pain was their currency. The car moved slightly last night, not forward, but in rhythm. As if rocking to a song only they could hear. A ritual. A spiritual reenactment. That's why your lights flickered at 3:03 a.m., Archangel Michael says, some doors don't open, they break. And some souls don't leave, they linger. They have been keeping your face in places that do not honor you. Whispering prayers you'd never approve of. Inverting your truth. And now, they think they've gathered enough to finally confront you on their terms, but I will not allow it. God says, I am stirring the truth inside their chest. Every plan they built in shadow will start to unravel before your eyes. Because you have grown into a light they cannot hold, and soon, they will face a mirror they can't survive. This person used to cry in your arms. They once called you their healer. But what they've done since has changed your name to moments of false guilt. That ends now. They carry secrets like weapons. And one of those secrets is about someone close to you now. Someone you don't know is already affected by the curse they whispered long ago. They've been talking to someone about you. Someone who shouldn't have listened. And now, a second car is involved, one you haven't seen yet. It stays further back, out of direct view. But it's real. The black car is the front line. The second one is the echo. That is how spiritual warfare operates in the physical, layered, disguised, and patient. God says, you are not wrong to feel like something bigger is unfolding. You are not wrong to sense that more than one set of eyes is tracking your every move. But what they do not see is the army I've stationed in silence around your home. You may not see them, but you have been surrounded by watchers of light. They move when I command. And tonight, they will shift into position. A name will return to you soon. One you haven't heard in over 7 years. When it does, speak nothing out loud. Just wait. Because that name is the key to unraveling this presence, Archangel Michael says, the war is not future, it is present. And tonight, the veil thins. Inside the black car is someone who believed they'd never be held accountable. Someone who thought God forgot. But your healing has begun to shake their foundation, because your recovery threatens their narrative. They built their new life on your silence. They told others you were unstable, unreliable, broken. And as your light begins to shine again, their story falls apart. You must prepare now. Not for confrontation, but for revelation. God says, I will reveal everything they said behind your back. Not to destroy you, but to free you. I will uncover every lie, every hidden conversation, every digital thread. And when the truth stands up, even the shadows will have to bow. You are not imagining this. The atmosphere has changed. You are being prepared for a holy reversal. The car does not realize yet that this circling will become their cage. The longer they wait, the more they fall into the trap of divine justice. Their timing is off. Their information is flawed. And their power is draining by the hour, because you've been praying in ways you didn't even realize. Your tears, your stillness, your surrender, it summoned more than you know. The black car will remain parked tonight. But something inside it will break. And when it does, you will feel a snap inside your chest like a rope loosening. That is the beginning of their end. You are protected. And more is being revealed. The rain came just before midnight, soft at first, then louder, like footsteps pacing the roof. Each drop struck with intention, a cleansing code written across the night. But beneath that rainfall, the black car did not move. It simply watched. Waited. As if listening for the sound of your resolve cracking. Inside, they held something new tonight. Not just papers, not just proof. A memory, distorted, suppressed, twisted for their protection. A moment they swore they buried, but it won't stay dead. Not anymore, because your name is connected to a turning point they never recovered from. And now, as your healing intensifies, it threatens to uncover what they've run from for years. This isn't revenge they're seeking, it's reversal. They want to become the victim in a story they authored. Archangel Michael says, deception can mimic grief. But real grief doesn't circle houses under moonless skies. You see, they didn't just know you. They studied you. They copied your language, your energy, your voice. They went places pretending to be you spiritually. They drained your light to mask their own darkness, and now the memory they buried, of what they did that night, of what they said when no one was listening, is rising again. Because God is bringing it into the light. You felt it in your dreams. The flash of something undone. The echo of an apology that never came. God says, the silence they gave you will be their undoing. The lies they whispered in private will become the thunder that shakes their new foundation. And the car they hide in will soon become the courtroom where justice begins. They've tried everything to spiritually dilute your clarity. Connecting with energy workers who have no authority over your destiny. Trying to sever the divine favor you were marked with since childhood. But their hands tremble now. Because the energy they play with was never meant to be theirs. You felt strange surges of fatigue lately. Moments of dizziness without cause. The weight on your chest when you pass certain places. That's not just emotion, it's interference. They've been spiritually tethering themselves to your memories, hoping to pull you back into the pain loop, but that loop is breaking tonight. God says, I am setting fire to the false altars where your name was spoken without permission. I am collapsing every spiritual detour designed to delay your becoming. And the person in that car will begin to lose what they thought was untouchable. Inside the glove box is a letter. It was never meant to be read. It's written in handwriting you would recognize instantly. A confession. A collapse. A plan to disappear and pin the blame on you. Archangel Michael says, you were never meant to carry the guilt of their self-destruction. That is not your weight. That is not your mission. They crafted their exit before they ever confronted the truth. And now, they are circling back not for closure, but for collapse. If you open the door to them, they will drag you into an emotional storm you were never meant to endure again. You must stay steady now. Not quiet, steady. The next few days will bring signs so unmistakable, you'll feel your body react before your mind understands. Someone close to you will mention a name. A place. An object you haven't seen in years. That is not coincidence. That is confirmation. God says, your timeline is about to correct itself. Everything they tried to delay is catching up in full force. And the thing they fear most, your divine appointment, is now inevitable. You are not unsafe. You are not alone. You are simply awakening to the full scale of what was done to you, and what I'm about to undo. The black car has been marked. And the soul within it is about to experience what it means to be pursued not by man, but by justice itself. What they carry will soon begin to turn against them. Every secret they kept will itch beneath their skin. Every manipulation will return to sender. The spiritual realm is stirring. And tonight, the wind will change direction. Archangel Michael says, do not open the window if they knock. Do not respond if they try to bait you with grief. That's not remorse, it's strategy. They are losing control of the story where you are always misunderstood. Always too much. Always not enough. That story ends now. You are more than they remembered. You are stronger than they prayed you wouldn't become. And you are finally in alignment with the divine pace of justice. A specific smell will return to you tonight. One tied to that buried memory. When it hits your senses, pause. That is the moment of crossing. The spiritual shift will begin then. You may feel chills. You may feel fire in your palms. You may feel nothing but stillness. All of these are signs of divine witness. God says, I am not just healing you, I am rewriting the energetic truth surrounding your name. You will no longer be bound to the pain someone else refused to face. And the person in that car will face what they buried, alone, because you no longer live in the frequency of fear. You have outgrown their shadow. And you are now walking in the power they tried to impersonate. The storm outside will increase. But do not flinch. The thunder is not a warning, it's a reckoning. You are stepping into sacred territory now. And the car that once circled your home will soon find itself surrounded by something it cannot explain. Something holy. Something final. Let it come. Type Amen.